Alright. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the topic of YouTuber wars about Xur. Now, this is something that has been discussed many times before on Reddit, and the reason why I'm choosing to talk about this in today's video is because there is literally a top trending Reddit post, the one I have here behind you. This is top trending right now on r/Destiny2, and it shows a video from Kackis saying Destiny 2 trash, literally trash, and then a video from me saying Xur has bugged weapon plus GODROLL, and the title is YouTubers plus Xur. Now in this thread, a lot of different things, a lot of different content creators are named and stuff, and so I threw in their Cool Guys video as well, where he talks about Xur being mediocre, and I'm not here to start a war with anyone. I respect these guys and their opinions, and I think that it's really important to have some healthy dialogue when we talk about GODROLLs and good weapons and Xur's loot in a in a healthy and respectful way. So I watched Kackis' video, I watched Fallout's video, and I want to reiterate a few points in my video and why I titled the video the way I did, and why I don't like how the Reddit community likes to create a war against the YouTubers. I don't have any hate for any of these people, and I like the discrepancies. I like there to be some sort of dialogue. But in my video, I titled it Xur has a bugged weapon plus a god roll. So let's go ahead and look at Xur right now. We can see that he has this stars and shadow roll, and this thing is super bugged. You can see there's 3 perks in the slot right now, and then 2 over here, and then randomly throughout this it will change and have suddenly just 2 perks in this slot, or sometimes it even has like double grave robber. And so for whatever weird reason, due to Bungie allowing more perks because you reset your Valor, or you can see right there it has double elemental capacitor, double grave robber. Because you reset your Valor this season, you get double or even triple perks, and because literally as I'm recording this video, the perks are just changing like crazy. I find this wildly amusing, and in the process there's actually a potential for you to get triple perks in both columns here, and I think it's actually based on the number of times you've reset your Valor, because this weapon is a Crucible specific weapon. So if you reset your Valor a bunch, you could actually get 3 perks in both columns here, and that is a really interesting bug, and that could easily allow for you to get a god roll of the stars and shadow if these perks end up actually being advantageous. And funny enough, if you actually buy this weapon when it has different perks on it, as you can see right here, when you buy it when it has different perks on it, you'll actually get the exact roll. So you can buy like 4 or 5 different rolls of the stars and shadow from Xur, and I'm sitting here laughing still because those perks just keep swapping around like a freaking lotto machine. But for that reason, that's why I titled this video Xur has a bugged weapon plus a god roll, because I thought this bugged weapon was interesting enough, and I think that the majority of the viewers out there can agree with that. I don't think that you would really call that a clickbait word or a clickbait title. I think that you can accurately agree that this is a bugged weapon and definitely worth looking at or potentially grabbing and seeing how many different perks you have based on the number of Valor resets you've done this season. Now moving on to the other section of this, which was where I titled it plus a god roll. Kackis does actually give a nod to the linear fusion, talking about how it is the best roll of this weapon. However, the Storm Chaser now exists in Destiny 2, and the Storm Chaser is an arc linear fusion that is a burst fire and has significantly better DPS output than the Tarantula linear fusion rifle that's available for Xur right now, which is completely true, and I actually mentioned that in my video as well, that the Storm Chaser outclasses the Tarantula in the current sandbox. And I think that's why Kackis went with the title of trash, literally trash, and I think that's the same reason why Fallout would go with the title Wow, Mediocre Xur. But one thing I would like to say about this Tarantula roll that's available for you right now at Xur is that this was the best arc linear fusion last season. When I was trying to do the Lightblade GM, this was like the go-to weapon because of arc singe. This was the go-to weapon, the exact roll you want. On D2 Gunsmith, you can see right here, this is the roll. This is the best roll of this linear fusion rifle, and this was very desirable last season. Now this season, the Storm Chaser does exist, but just because the Storm Chaser does exist doesn't make this any less of a god roll of this weapon. This is still the very best roll of this weapon and definitely worth grabbing, especially because while the majority of you out there watching this probably have a Storm Chaser, not everyone bought the current season. Not everyone has current access to the dungeon, so you may not be able to get a Storm Chaser linear fusion if you don't have access to the dungeon. If you don't have access to it, you can easily just log into the game, go to the tower, and pick up a linear fusion from Xur that's extremely good. Whenever arc singe is around, this will still be a really good and very viable weapon in the current sandbox. Not to mention, a variety of different people don't have the best accessibility to Destiny. They may not have the best vision, or they may have physical disabilities, and they may not be able to beat the dungeon and get access to the Storm Chaser. If they're not able to beat the dungeon consistently or very easily, well, logging into Destiny 2, going to the tower, and just picking up a really good linear fusion from Xur is way more accessible to them. And lastly, bad RNG does exist. I know several people that have beat the dungeon about half a dozen times and have still not gotten the Storm Chaser to drop for them. And if you suffer from bad RNG, well, thankfully you can just log into Destiny 2, go to the tower, and pick up this really good roll of the Tarantula from Xur, and this thing will do wonders for you inside the game. This is a really, really good linear fusion. Anytime there will be Arc Singe, this is definitely a go-to weapon, if of course you don't have the Storm Chaser. And I think that a large majority of the people out there watching this video right now would agree with those points and understand that those are very valid in order to title the video the way I did, and to perceive this Tarantula as being a god roll, because it is a god roll. This is the god roll of the Tarantula. This is the very best roll of this weapon. And lastly, the one thing I will mention as well too is that the Storm Chaser is doing such insane damage. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bungie nerf its damage a little bit, because it basically just outclasses all other linear fusion rifles at this time. And while that is fun and exciting for the current season, it probably won't be as fun and exciting in future seasons, because the sandbox is meant to be balanced, and we want to have all of the linear fusions, regardless of their affinity, be comparable in their damage output. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? No hate or disrespect to any other YouTubers out there that ever disagree with my opinions of Xur or god rolls or anything like that. It's totally okay. I think it's cool to have some healthy discourse. It's cool to have some debate about what is the meta, what are the god rolls inside Destiny 2. It doesn't have to just be a giant war and sharpening your pitchforks and lighting your torches. We can all have fun and just play the game and have some fun conversations about Destiny 2. But that's a wrap on this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. Smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Later.